Hello, Kindred Spirits, and welcome back to Bits and Bob's Divination. My name is Caitlin, and today we are going to be diving in to look into the main energies coming forward for you for the next 2 weeks, as well as doing a week-by-week energy forecast with the charms. So let's go ahead and dive right in. Alright, so welcome back, my beautiful kindred spirits, and anyone new who is joining us here for the first time on the channel. It's wonderful to have you all here. Today we are going to be looking into, like I said, the typical 2-week energy forecast that I love to do on this channel with the charms, letters, numbers, all that jazz. So feel free to get yourself cozy and settled for this. But before we dive into each of the different piles that you can choose from to decide which reading is for you, definitely feel free to check out all the information I have on my snail mail readings that are open right now till the end of November, and we'll be starting up again in the start of January. So if that's something you're interested in, you are always welcome to ask for more questions, even during December. So feel free to reach out if you're interested in your own personal snail mail reading, where I send a letter to you in the mail. It is typewritten on a vintage typewriter. It is wax sealed closed for your eyes only, and it dives deep into any question or query on your mind. Lots of helpful and honest reviews over on my Instagram, and more information that you can reach out for through an email or an Instagram DM. I also do create custom charm cloths, and I also do create your own custom designed sigils and stamps for your own art magic and your grimoires. So if that's something you're interested in as well, feel free to reach out for one of those, as I would love to design and create and carve one to send out to you. So with that all said, thank you so much for listening to all of that and supporting the channel in the ways that you can through subscribing, liking, or just being here. It's wonderful. And we're going to go ahead and get started here with looking at the piles. So we have 3 different unique piles here today. You could choose all of them or play around with them however you wish. But here for pile number 1, if you're feeling called to this one, it may be because of this piece of blue tiger's eye. So that is pile number 1. Here for pile number 2, if you're feeling called to this piece of aura quartz, then this may be the pile for you. So that's pile number 2. And last but not least, here is this piece of what I believe is dyed blue moss agate. So if you're feeling called to this piece of moss agate, then this is the pile for you. So before you start heading off to the timestamps, I like to invite you to take a deep and cleansing breath here with me in just a moment, so we can really call in our guides, so we can connect with each of the piles and connect with our own intuition. So let's go ahead and take that deep breath together here now. And as always, like I mentioned earlier, there are no ways or no wrong or right ways to do this. You can choose all 3 of the piles. You can choose a pile, change your mind, flip-flop as you'd like, take little bits and leave little bits as you wish. All of the timestamps will be down below in the description alongside the chapter marks of this video. And as I mentioned earlier, if you're interested in your own snail mail reading, a charm casting cloth, or your own personal sigils to be carved into stamps or other particular symbols that are very important to you and your grimoire and your magic, then definitely feel free to reach out for any or all of those. So with that all said, thank you so much for hanging out here with me in the intro, and we'll go ahead and get started here with pile number 1. Hello group 1, if you've decided to choose this piece of blue tiger's eye, then this is the pile for you, as today we are going to be exploring your next 2 weeks with a week-by-week energy forecast with the charms. We're going to be playing around with letter tiles and numbers to really look into the numerology and the oracle messages we can play around with, and we're also going to be pulling a main energy card too to just see the overall and overarching themes coming forward for you. So do feel free to get yourself cozy, settled, and comfy for this. We are going to actually begin first with your letter tiles, as I like to start with those, see if there are any particular initials that are coming forward a lot, if there are words that we can spell out, and as a good exercise to get us into it, So yeah, do feel free to get yourself cozy and settled for this. And as always with these particular readings where I really play around with different kinds of divination tools, I definitely invite you as always to play around with this as well. Maybe you're going to see a lot of things that I don't notice, or there's going to be little things that are going to be very specific to you. So feel free to use your own intuition, use this as a exercise to work on your intuition, and we can play together. So let's go ahead and see first your letter tiles. So feel free to send your energy in, and we'll see your next 2 weeks, group 1. Okay, so first off you have U, T, G, E, K, I, as well as another E. So we have a lot of vowels here and only a couple of consonants to really play with. So this is a good balance, but there's not a lot we can do. We have sort of tick showing up here, making me think of like there being like a tick-tock time. Like, I mean, I guess it could be like TikTok if you want to take this literally, but it also could, I was kind of getting like this like metronome feeling, like this like constant back of your mind pressure, like a due date of like, you know, like you're just constantly knowing that at the back of your mind you need to be doing this thing, and there's like this anticipation and build up towards something that's showing up here over the next 2 weeks. So we have that. You also have here geek, so there could be something that like you're just really nerding out about, really geeking out about, that you're really excited, maybe a new movie, a new show, maybe there's a particular hobby that you really enjoy, or skill that you're working on that you're just really nerding out about, really enjoying honing those skills, or enjoying just the process of something coming out and being able to enjoy. That could be the TikTok as well, like a good anticipatory feeling of like, I just can't wait for it to show up. So there also could be that too. But there definitely feels more like a time pressure, but also you wanting to enjoy your time with something as well, maybe with other people. Also, when I was looking at this too, like we did have tick, but if you go the opposite way, one, you could write like kite. But the thing I saw was like kit. Like even though you have something coming up that's maybe a possibility to be something that's kind of like a negative anticipatory thing, or some sort of time pressure that's on you, the fact that you have kit spelled the opposite way, like we didn't get TikTok like with a C where this wouldn't work, like the fact that you can flip it around and it shows that you do have the capabilities and you have the proper tools and you have a way in order to get through whatever it is that you feel this pressure of is really nice, right? Like it's one thing to have a time pressure, a due date, and you're not feeling prepared. At least in this case, there is preparation happening. There are tools in your favor. There are resources you could take advantage of in this case. You also, like I said, did have kite, so feel free to see how that is showing up for you too. But that's kind of everything that I'm getting here, but feel free to play around with these further. I'm going to go ahead and pull you some number tiles, and we're going to see what comes forward with those. So very similarly to the letters, the numbers are going to be looking into any repeating numbers that you're going to be getting, any dates that are significant and important for you over the next 2 weeks, or even were important in the last 2 weeks as well, if you get like single digits or something like that. And also we can see if there are any other little messages hidden within them. So let's go ahead and pull these for you. Okay, so you have 3 in red, 3 in black. I thought you were going to get all 3s, and a 6 in red. So what I find this kind of interesting is first you got, you know, the 13th, the 3rd, the 16th, the 6th, all being important numbers coming forward here. But another thing that I think is really interesting with this is that you have 2 red ones, and, you know, a 3 and a 3 make 6. So it kind of feels like there's like this disharmony with you and possible people that you would be supporting you, or teammates even, because threes usually represent a collaborative experience, something that you're collaborating with others, whether it has to do something to do with like that hobby or the geeking out kind of side of things, or if it's something to do more so with that time pressure that you have other people that you're working with on some sort of project, or some sort of due date that's coming in here. And it does seem like there's a little bit of disjointed energy between you guys. There is possible passion as well, because red can represent passion, but in this case it kind of feels like some people are on board with things and some people are not, which is creating like a disharmony, because 6 is the number of harmony. So the fact that you have that coming in with red can showcase that there is a lot of passion, there is a lot of ambition, but some people aren't also pulling their weight. So that might be something that with that kit that we talked about earlier, yes, you have the resources and capability, but maybe you have to tap into those a little bit more or find a different way around it. So that's something to keep in mind as well. This also just might be an opportunity for you also to collaborate more with others, grow your community, or to put yourself out there a little bit more too. So let us go ahead and pull you a main energy card. So if you take anything from this reading, I think this is the one to really pay attention to most. This is the highlight of everything. This is the title of your next 2 weeks, right? So this is that overarching energy. So definitely feel free to send your energy in. I don't know if I mentioned earlier, I don't think I did, but all of the tools and supplies that I'm using here will be listed down below in the description. This is the Under the Oak Tarot. But let's go ahead and pull a card for you. So the overarching message here for group 1 for the next 2 weeks. Okay, so the 3 of Pentacles sounds about right. You're getting 3s from every direction. So there is a lot about community building. There's a lot about collaboration and working together. And it doesn't necessarily mean working with other people as well. In this case, you can see 3 different figures here, but you also see 3 different crystals, or 3 different ways, viewpoints that these people are bringing together, that these creatures are bringing together to make a stronger whole. So even though it could be working with other people, this also can represent working with different facets of your life and kind of combining things. It makes me think of like when you have a friend group and 2 of your friends have never met, but they both know you as a mutual friend, but then they meet and you're like not sure if it's gonna gel or not, or if they're gonna like each other. And so there's always that kind of uncertainty. That's the feeling that I'm getting here, either whether it's actually with friends or other people who you're bringing onto a project or bringing into something and you're uncertain of how it's gonna go. This also could be related to different facets of your life, different facets of your personality that you're blending and melding together. So that's something else to consider, that it doesn't necessarily have to be people, but it can represent different facets of something that are stronger once melded together. So a lot of your next 2 weeks is all about mixing and mingling, networking and community building and teamwork for sure, showing up here at the highlight of things. And not just teamwork, but giving really good constructive advice, helping each other. There's a reciprocity that comes across here. And there's also an energy of like, each of you bring a very different viewpoint. Each of these facets bring a very different energy to the whole. And like, again, it lifts everyone when you bring those diverse voices and those diverse ideas forward. So let us go ahead and look at your charms and see what you have going on a week by week energy forecast basis. So we're going to be using the charm mat that I have here, although if you are interested in charms and you want to learn more about charms, I have an entire video that you can check out down below in the description, all about how to start creating your own set of charms. It's a very accessible way to start in divination, and a great one to have if you're in the broom closet or if you just like little knickety knacks like I do. It's a great way to get into divination. But also, if you're interested in getting your own charm casting mat like this one, definitely feel free to reach out, because I would love to hand embroider one for you in your own design, your own colors, however you wish and however you cast. But today, the one that we're using here is my trusty old one that I've had for ages, and everything that shows up here in the center is going to be related to that Three of Pentacles energy of collaboration and such. We're going to see more information on that. Anything that falls to the left of this line is going to be related to week 1, and anything on the right for week 2. And then we'll talk about the moon phases individually if they show up. So we're going to begin first with your tarot tiles, and then just after we'll pull some charms. So feel free to get the main energy coming forward here with the tarot, and then we'll get the details with the charms. So send your energy on in. Let's pull some for you. Okay, a nice little bundle here. We've got quite a passionate energy coming forward, like I talked about earlier with that passionate red with the Ace of Wands, but nothing else is coming up with the rest of them because they aren't very revealed at the moment, but we'll get some charms to get the details. So send your energy, have a little conversation with them, and I'll pull some for you. Okay, interesting. Okay, so when I was doing this, one of your charms just hopped right out, so I want to see. Okay, I'm going to leave it in tentatively for the first week, but let's focus first here in the center. So time pressure definitely coming forward because we've got the pressure charm. This is like a bottle full of rocks. It feels like a weight on your back. It feels like a pressure is building and building and building and building and is about to burst kind of feeling that's happening here. The pressure can be a good thing, right? Sometimes we are excited about something. We're anticipating something in a very exciting way, but sometimes we also have the opposite side where it feels a lot more like a pressure on our back, something we have to hold, something that we are trying to work through, and until it gets to its end, you have to feel that pressure all the way along. And that pressure is related to something that you are feeling maybe passionate about, or you want to just get going on. You just want to hit the ground running, get going, start flying through, because you have the seed energy. Whenever I see an ace, it represents the very beginning of a particular suit, and in this case it is the seed or the beginning of the wand suit. So the wands are all about passion, drive, excitement, playfulness. It's all about humor and determination as well. There's a bit of a wild cardness that comes from the wands as well. So what I'm seeing here, and what I talked about earlier, is that there is passion, there is excitement in some ways, maybe not even excitement, but there is definitely drive and ambition towards whatever this time related thing is. It's not that you don't like it or that you don't want to pursue it, but that it's going to take a lot of effort and time, and so that's something to consider moving into your week or your next 2 weeks. So let's go ahead and see a little further with week 1. I'm just going to move this one up so it's closer in view for you guys. And you have kind of one that fell between weeks, so we'll pull that one in a second. But you did get the letter W showing up here, but again, it flew out and it came up upside down. So one could be the letter M, but also because it flew out, it makes me think that this is like someone who is either leaving a project, or like there's something related to W, that's the problem card that's coming in here, or an M. And you also have the Eight of Pentacles, so again, a lot of hard work that's going into something. And then you have the reversed Chariot card, which the Chariot is all about hitting the ground running, getting going, getting a good, powerful jump start on something. And the fact that you have the Chariot kind of halted here, halting your very fast good work, tells me again that you're going to have the roadblock, the setback happening here in the first week. That's where like the passion, the drive, the pressure starts to build, because you're not maybe getting as much progress done as you'd like, or things aren't mixing and mingling in the way that you'd hoped with other people's ideas, or there's something has caused a roadblock here for you in the first week. Between weeks, you got the reversed Eight of Cups, which is really nice to see after having just seen the Chariot card, because the Eight of Cups is all about letting something go, right? If you look at it upright, you can see that they are sort of walking away from something that no longer fills all of these cups. It's no longer helping them. They're not very good on this journey. So there is sort of a break or a retreat that can happen with this. Because you got it lifted, it makes me think that whatever happened in the first week is going to get resolved by the end of the week. It's just you have to get through that bit of a hurdle. So here on the second week, you got a lot more going on, right? There's a lot more showing up here. I'm going to zoom you in a little closer. Let's go ahead and reveal first what your card is. You have the reversed version of the Queen of Pentacles, and the Queen of Pentacles is a very resourceful card to have in your favor, right? So it could showcase that, yes, some setbacks happen in the first week. Second, between the weeks, you start to feel okay about things. You've taken a break. You guys are figuring it out again. And then by the next coming week, it seems like things, someone else within that group or another facet, again, of the whole is just not melding once again. It's like those resources are not showing up here, or you guys are lacking in these particular resources, something that makes you feel very stable, something that makes it so that you are able to be understood. Like, I kind of got this feeling from the shark, like sharks a lot of the time are misunderstood for how ferocious they can be, and how they also can be very gentle creatures, and there's much more ferocious creatures out there, and so I feel like they're sometimes very misrepresented. And so when I'm looking at this too, it makes me think that there's someone that you thought was going to be super resourceful, they were gonna have all the things that you needed, you'd hope that they were gonna fulfill this particular role, or if it isn't a person, again, it's a particular facet, or even the goal that you're heading towards. Maybe you thought it was going to be all that, and then it just like fell kind of flat, or wasn't as good, or didn't meet your expectations. That's the feeling that I'm getting here. Again, the time energy coming forward here once again. So there really is a lot about time limits, and I feel like that time is going to come to its end in terms of the second week. Something is going to finish off or complete with this pressure, this time pressure that you have going on here. That's when it's going to maybe finish up, and that's why maybe you're like, oh, it kind of fell short. It didn't get how exactly I wanted it to. It's not bad, but it didn't go like amazing. It's sort of like a hit or miss situation. So overall, I feel like your cards and charms and everything here aren't saying that you're going to have like a hard next 2 weeks, but it does seem that it's going to be kind of an interesting set of things going on with these setbacks, and then these changes, these breaks, and then these this anticipation that's building, and then also the idea of like maybe someone not necessarily meeting your expectations. And so maybe that's something also to consider, is sort of leveling out those expectations even going into these next 2 weeks. So with that all said, those are all of your cards and your charms. I'll go ahead and pull these back up for you. If you did enjoy this reading and got something out of it, definitely be sure to give this video a like and let me know in the comments down below what you saw. You might have saw something entirely different. Maybe you saw something else in the charms, in the cards, or in the letters. I would love to hear. And if you are interested in more pick-a card readings like this one, definitely feel free to subscribe, as I put out new readings every single Monday on love, career, charms, on art, magic, and the like. So feel free to join on in. And if you are interested in getting your own private personal reading that's sent to you in the mail, it is typewritten on a vintage typewriter, wax sealed closed, for your eyes only, diving into any particular query or topic that's been on your mind, then I think snail mail readings are for you. Lots of helpful and honest reviews over on my Instagram, which you can find down below, and lots of information that you can email me about if you're curious, or send me an Instagram DM. And if you're interested in art magic and you'd like to get your own personal custom art magic stamp that you can use in your art magic rituals, or just use in your bullet journal and in your planner for fun, then definitely feel free to reach out, as I would love to hand carve a stamp for you. I have an entire video going over how you can create your own stamps, but if you'd like me to create one and design one for you and carve it to send to you, then definitely feel free to reach out, as I'd love to make your custom sigils or particular symbols that you work with often. I truly have so much fun doing those, so feel free to reach out. But with that all said, I'm going to go ahead and close off your reading. Thank you so much for being here with me today, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye. Hello Group 2, if you decide to choose this piece of Aura Quartz, then this is the pile for you. As today we are going to be exploring your next 2 weeks. We're going to be doing a week-by-week energy forecast here in a minute, but we're also going to be looking into the main energy and overarching energy coming forward. We're going to be playing around with letter and number tiles and seeing what messages come forward with those. So definitely feel free to get yourself settled and cozy for this. All of the supplies that I'm using here today will be listed down below in the description in case you're curious. But like I said, we're going to get right into it. And I like to preface at the start of these, especially these particular ones where we're using a lot of different kind of divination tools than just tarot. I think it's really fun for these ones to really practice your intuition, use your own intuition and see what comes forward, exercise it, see what happens, because there's going to be little things that I'm probably not going to pick up on, or there's going to be things that your brain is like, yes, that I need to look at this particular charm. I really need to focus on that particular letter. So feel free to see where your mind goes, see where your intuition flows, and we will get right into it. So we're going to begin first with your letter tiles. These are going to be looking into any particular oracle messages that we can spell out, any particular letters that are very important for initials or other particular letters that are just really naming things out for you. And then we can look into communication styles and other things further if they come forward. So let's go ahead and pull these for you. Feel free to send your energy on in and we'll begin. Okay, so first off, you have G, E, A, R, O, L, N, D, and E. I see doe or do right away, and the idea of like, I'm kind of like, and I'm also seeing like Noel, so I just am getting on this side like a lot of like festivities going on here, maybe the festive spirit coming forward a little bit over these next 2 weeks, a change of pace, which makes a lot of sense in terms of this time of year, especially here in the Northern Hemisphere, and for those of you who celebrate different holidays around this time. But also like the idea of like a doe made me think too of like you feeling a little bit fight or flight about that, possibly like you're just feeling maybe a little bit of like nervousness or like a constant feeling of needing to like look over your shoulder and make sure you haven't forgot anything, and like this constant like maybe anxiety that's growing here a little bit, or this need to keep your guard up. So that's something that's showing up here a little bit with the doe. Do as well, meaning maybe you're getting through some to-do lists or other things that have been on your mind for a while that you just want to get through. So over these next 2 weeks, you might find that you're quite a doer, and that's coming forward here as well. You also have gear coming up over here on this side. So again, like getting yourself in gear, getting yourself ready, anticipating something. This kind of came up a little bit in group 1. So if you're feeling really called to this and you find the rest of the pile doesn't really fit, or you want to see another side of the coin, feel free to check out pile number 1. But yeah, the gear side of things too makes me think that you're maybe also tinkering with something, like you're wanting to tinker something, change something, tweak something over these next 2 weeks, that you're just like fiddling and tweaking. So there is that energy too of wanting to I even see like lodge showing up here too. So yeah, I'm getting like a lot of like wintry cabin, Noel festivities energy coming forward here with a lot of your letters. So a lot of you are maybe just really getting into the festive spirit. Maybe you're really starting to get out all of your gear. Maybe you're starting to, maybe you're going out to the mountains with like lodges and camping and deer and all of that. But this also could just be in general, like you're just feeling really cozy, or you're feeling that kind of festive spirit showing up here as well. Gear also makes me think of something related to like not only just like a tinkering, but also like a shift in perspective around something. You're wanting to change gear, wanting to shift your perspective. So that could also be coming forward here, or this feeling also like on a very literal level. This makes me think something to do with like a car or a vehicle to keep in mind over the next 2 weeks, with like gear shifts and such. Another thing to maybe keep in mind about as well. So I'm going to go ahead and put all of these up here, and we'll see your numbers. So the numbers are very similar to the letters, only with the numbers, you even got ear over here and dog showing up here. I love when I do this and then something else shows up. So you also have like ear and dog, like a dog has their ear to the ground listening. Like if you've ever seen like foxes kind of hunting, they've got like their ear to the ground listening for the vibrations, listening for what's crawling underneath. So there's also this feeling that like maybe you are listening or maybe even eavesdropping on something, like you've got your ear to the ground, you're keeping an eye out for something. So anyway, with the numbers are very similar to the letters. We're going to be looking into significant dates that are coming forward. We're also going to see numerology, repeating numbers, all that. And even if the date has already passed, it still could just be related to or have a link to this particular next 2 weeks. So let's go ahead and pull these. Okay, so you have one showing up here on the dog ear situation that we were talking about earlier, and the one is particularly in a very excited kind of energy of the orange. So there's this like excited, oh my gosh, yes, I got my ear to the ground. Maybe there's like this like I can't wait for something, like you have your ear to the ground for an announcement or a particular set of information that you've been waiting on come forward. You also are maybe really focusing on yourself over these next 2 weeks. You also have the number 13 showing up here, or 3 with black, and you also have the number 4 or 14 with you also have like maybe the 31st. I don't think there's 31 days in November, I don't remember, but you also have the number 4 in blue showing up here as well. 4 being a number of comfort and security, and that's coming in blue, so you're feeling very comfortable and secure over these next 2 weeks, especially if it comes to a financial level, or you're feeling like at least you found a good spot, a sweet spot at this time. Maybe it won't last, but at least over these next 2 weeks. And 3 shows like, I think 3 just feels more related to a date, honestly. So that's everything that I've got there for your numbers. But let us go ahead and look at your next piece of the puzzle, which is going to be a card from the Under the Oak Tarot, looking into a particular energy that's most coming forward. That's the overarching energy, the theme of the next 2 weeks. So definitely feel free to send your energy into this one if you haven't for anything else, because this is going to be the big one. So let's see what that is for you. Next 2 weeks, group 2. Okay, 3 of Swords coming forward. Interesting. Because there is this secure energy that we talked about earlier of feeling very secure and in your space and you know what you're doing. But what's interesting about this one is the 3 of Swords can represent feeling kind of stuck in a way, like stuck in your mind, stuck in your ways, stuck in a particular way of thinking that's very difficult sometimes to get out of. I feel like a lot of people see the 3 of Swords and think of it as like the heartbreak card or a card of deep despair, but I tend to see it as like us sometimes just getting in our own way, staying sort of rock solid in something, putting ourselves in a situation in which we won't move, we won't change. And so in this case, I feel like you've really put yourself maybe in a situation where you're very solid, things are going very well, you're sticking to the plan, but you're also not like allowing any wiggle room, you're not allowing anything to change or to shift gear. And so maybe that is again something that's going to be a realization over these next 2 weeks, that there's something that you need to shift, something you need to tweak, something you need to open up a little bit so that you can kind of breathe in this space a little bit more. So I love the imagery of this card, so I'm going to hold it up in case you guys want to look around it a little bit, there are some runes as well with Kanaz and Bracana and Suze, I believe. Yeah. Or no, that one's Feu. But I'm probably pronouncing those incorrectly, but regardless, that's coming forward as well with the energy of birth, of finances, and goods, and then you also have the energy of like the hearth fire. So going from a place that's very stable to birthing a new idea is kind of coming forward here for me and for like you. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and move on to your next 2 weeks and see what's going on an individual week by week level. So feel free to get yourself ready for this one. We're going to be pulling some tarot tiles and charms here in a moment, but how we're going to do so on this is going to be on this charm mat. And if you guys have never encountered charms before and you want to create your own charm set, it's a very accessible way to get into divination and a way to do it very on the down low. So if that's something you're interested in, I have an entire video talking about how to begin your own journey with charms and build your own set. So if that's something you're interested in, feel free to check it out down below in the description. But also, if you already have your own charm set and you'd like your own charm mat, I have the opportunity right now for you to reach out to me to get your own charm casting mat that I hand embroider every single stitch so that it is for you and custom to you and how you wish to cast your charms. But for you guys today, we're going to be using my old raggedy one that I've had for ages, and it's such a trooper. And anything that falls here in the center is going to be related to more of that 3 of Swords energy, the overarching energies. Anything that falls here left of this middle line is going to be related to week 1, and the opposite side on the right, week 2. And then we'll talk about the moon phases if they show up. So let us start first with the tarot tiles, and just after we'll pull some charms. So feel free to send your energy in again here, and we'll pull some for you. So here we go, group 2. Okay, and then like I said, we'll also pull some charms, so feel free to get all the details, have a little conversation with them. I'll pull some for you. Okay. Not a lot of charms wanting to come forward today. Very mysterious. Okay, let me go ahead and move you into the center, and we'll talk about those ones here first. So like I said, you already had that 3 of Swords coming forward, but alongside that energy of kind of feeling stiff or staying in your spot, not wanting to change, kind of almost like I'm getting like a self-sacrificing feeling too with what's coming forward here, because you also have the 10 of Pentacles, which can represent wanting to financially or just emotionally too, in some ways as well, support your family, support your chosen family, your friends, really wanting to be there for them. There's this self-sacrificing feeling of the Lovers card showing up here too. So I just keep getting this like feeling of self-sacrifice, of wanting to help others and put others first outside of yourself right now. And maybe that's because of gift giving, maybe it's the season, maybe it's just because you have a lot of plans going on, or maybe you just know that someone around you really needs the help and could really be a beacon of help for you in the future. So there's like that reciprocity, everything comes back around, full circle feeling. I just get this feeling that, again, you really want to help someone. You're putting someone else first. You're being quite selfless with your time. And I think that that's a really wonderful thing. And make sure that you obviously still take time for yourself and make sure that you're not, pouring from an empty cup. But there is a really beautiful energy to that as well, especially around this season when things are tight and difficult for other people. And if you can help and you have the means or the resources, then why not, you know? So that's coming forward here, of a feeling of wanting to help or volunteer your help towards others. You also have here in the center, you have like a little bit of a energy of like, I always see this as like spirit guides working in your favor behind the scenes, like they're wanting to, pull something together for you and make something happen. As to what that is, it's not really showing, but maybe that's the mystery of it all. So there does seem to be an energy of a guide really working in your favor right now behind the scenes, even if you're not aware of it. Other things you have going on here, over by the last quarter moon, but coming up on week 1, the last quarter moon being a moon all about letting something go. You have something to let go of in the first week is kind of falling under that self-sacrifice feeling again of, putting yourself first. And again, not to say that you have to do this all the time, but maybe at this particular time of year, this particular situation that's going on, you may feel that you need to put yourself on the back burner just for a little bit to help someone else. And obviously we cannot run on that forever, but that is something that is showing up here, like you're needing to like let go of your own emotional weight and also not be judgmental with this particular person or situation that's coming forward here. There also is the jumping forward charm of the frog, of wanting to leap forward towards something or wanting to leap forward. So there is also maybe some really big leaps happening for you outside of this situation that we've been talking about already. That in the first week you're really leaping towards something. It feels like maybe that's what this is related to with a guide, like they're helping you to leap forward towards something or to push forward. You also have the rose-colored glasses showing up here too, that maybe you're going to be able to give someone else a more hopeful and honest view of something, or just in general, maybe if things have been kind of difficult because you've been putting a lot of your energy towards someone else or another situation, that towards the end of week 1, you're going to be able to jump back into yourself, have a little time off, enjoy putting your rose-colored glasses on for a little while, and just kind of chill with a movie or a comforting book or whatever it may be. And then here in week 2, you also have the star charm showing up here, the star of hope, of feeling like you can bring hope to other people's lives, or just in general, you're feeling very hopeful. And you also have the... you have 2 different queens coming up here in the reversed position of the Queen of Wands and the Queen of Pentacles. So the fact that you have hope showing up here in the second week and that you're kind of like mellowing out tells me that, like, yeah, you're putting a lot of your energy towards someone in the first week, but by the time you get to the second week, and I just realized you can't see that, but by the time you get to the second week, you're not going to be able to give anymore. You've run out of resources, you've run out of steam, you need to really look after yourself. The star also can represent not only hope but rejuvenation and renewal, so this is a really good time to renew yourself, fill back up your own cup, work towards yourself here in the second week, and because I think that we can only give for so long. So overall, those are all of the charms and cards that I have here laid out for you, group 2. I hope that this has been useful and helpful to you in navigating your next 2 weeks, and if it was, definitely be sure to give this video a like and let me know in the comments down below what you saw or what you noticed in the charms and the cards. I would truly love to hear. And if you're interested in looking further into anything else, I have lots of other pick a card readings on the channel that you can check out already, so feel free to subscribe and check out all the videos that I already have for art magic and charm casting, as well as other pick a card readings. And if you're interested in going deeper into anything that I have here or others that have been on the channel, then definitely feel free to reach out for a snail mail reading where I send a letter to you in the mail. It is typewritten on a vintage typewriter, it is wax sealed closed for your eyes only, and I dive very deep and put a lot of time and effort and care into these readings to really hone in on your energy, hone in on what would be most useful to you at this time for a particular topic or question that's been swirling around in your mind. So feel free to reach out for one of those if you'd like to. Lots of helpful and honest reviews over on my Instagram and my highlights, and you can also check out more information there if you'd like to, or feel free to just reach out to me and I'll send you all the information you need either through an Instagram DM or a I also do custom carved stamps for your art magic and your bullet journals and your grimoires. So if that's something you're interested in for your own custom stamp or sigil, then definitely feel free to reach out, as I would love to do that as well. I really enjoy doing those, so definitely feel free. I mean, I enjoy doing both, but I really do enjoy doing those for the creative side in me, so feel free to reach out if you'd like one of those. But with that all said, I'm going to go ahead and close off your reading before I keep waffling on here, and I hope to see you all in the next one. Bye. Hello, group 3. If you've decided to choose this piece of, I believe, sort of a dyed moss agate, then this is the pile for you, as we are going to be looking into your next 2 weeks for the big overarching messages, but also we're going to get into the nitty-gritty of your next 2 weeks, going a week by week with an energy forecast with the charms. We're also going to be playing around with the numbers and the letters to see any initials, significant dates, and others that come forward. So definitely feel free to get yourself cozy. All of the different supplies that I have here will be listed down below in the description in case you are curious what we're using here today. And as always, especially with these kinds of readings where we're playing around with charms and other kinds of divination that I feel like aren't used as widely, I feel like this is a perfect opportunity for you to really turn on your intuition, see and exercise it, and see what comes forward for yourself. So as always, I really invite you to be able to use your own, and let me know what you find out with that in the comments down below. But today we are going to begin by looking into your letters. So the letters are going to give us information about communication styles over the next 2 weeks. We're also going to be seeing if there are any particular initials that come forward that are really, reaching out to us, or if there's any other oracle messages we can spell out as well and play around with. As always, feel free to mix these up yourself in your mind or with the little pieces of paper, or however you wish. But I'm going to pull some for you. So definitely feel free to send your energy in as well. I will say that they were slippery for your guys's. I just kept not being able to hold on to them, which makes me think that the messages are hard to hold on to in a way. I'm curious how that shows up with everything else. But you have SLK. You also have a U, I, X, R, G, and an M. So immediately I'm noticing that there are a lot of consonants and only 2 vowels to play around with, which whenever I see that come forward, that makes me immediately think that there is sort of like an imbalance in communication here and communication styles. So I tend to see the consonants, like if you read out a sentence and you took out all the vowels and only left the consonants, you can still pretty much figure out what someone was trying to say, because you have the building blocks there. But if you only had the vowels, it would be much harder to know what someone was saying, right? So when I see a lot of consonants, it means that someone is very direct. They're not really putting a lot of fluff into it. It's very direct communication, which can be a very good thing if you're trying to send out a very direct message to someone. But in this case, if you're wanting to be more emotionally driven in your communication, if you're wanting to be better understood or express yourself more, this might be a harder time for you over these next 2 weeks, or you might find that someone else and people around you are very direct, maybe short, or just not communicating with a lot of feeling behind everything. So that's something to consider just in general. You also have 6 coming up in here, as well as mix. I feel like that's all you can really put together with that, but 6 being a number of harmony. It also is a number of kind of evenness, feeling very even. You also have mix showing up here, so it could be that you're trying to mix something together with someone to create better harmony or better understanding. So that's showing up here as well. It's interesting that these are showing up here in a way that's not spelling clue properly, but it's making me think of clue in that there's a clue coming forward, but it's going to come up in a form or in a way that you were definitely not expecting. So keeping your ear out, keeping your eyes out and peeled for particular clues towards something that you're maybe hoping to get more information on, or you're hoping to get answers on, that this is an opportunity for you to do so over these next 2 weeks, but it's going to come in a form that you were not expecting. So there's a bit of a surprise element showing up here. I think it's interesting that you can write Mr., Mix and Miss all in one little spot here too. So there also could be an interesting thing going on here of being introduced to a lot of different people, or people you haven't seen in a very long time showing up here. Feels like a group of a ton of different people coming forward, and you're having a conversation with them. Maybe that's where that shortness or direct communication is coming forward, and the idea that like maybe you haven't seen family in quite a while, or you haven't seen friends in a while, or you're having some sort of networking event, and it just feels like you're having very short, quick conversations between different people moving in and out, and that you're not really having the density or the depth that you're hoping for in particular conversations. Maybe something that would give you a clue about something, a particular opportunity you were hoping for maybe. But it does seem like it's a mix of different people for sure that you might be interacting with over these next 2 weeks in a way that you normally would not. But truly, that's about all I'm really getting here, because you don't have a lot of vowels to work with, so there's not a lot to bring up. So definitely feel free to play around with these yourself as well and see if there's anything else coming forward. I would love to know. But we are going to go ahead and pull you some numbers. They're very similar to the letters, but the numbers are going to show us significant dates, tell us about any particular repeating numbers or angel numbers coming forward here, or even anything else that might just show up here for some numerology. So let's pull some for you. Interesting. All three piles have only gotten 3 today. You have the number 11 showing up here in red. You have the number 7 in blue. And you have the number 10 in orange. So the 7th, the 10th, the 11th, the 18th, all of these could be very significant for you. These are also making me think too that you, I don't know, with the progression of like calmness to like oh my gosh kind of energy that's showing up here, if we're starting with like a blue all the way over to a red, makes me think too that you are maybe just going through quite a lot of different emotions over these next few weeks, or 2 weeks, that you just feel like you're, even though the communication style is coming in direct with everything we talked about, I do feel like there's like an emotional level showing up here of like heightened emotion or heightened sensitivity to particular emotions coming forward here with these numbers. The number 10 also can represent that you're completing something and finishing something over these next 2 weeks, because the 10 is also in orange. It makes me think that this is like something you're really hoping to have finish and complete over these next 2 weeks. So it seems like that is showing up in a very celebratory way. 7 can represent introspection, so kind of wanting to positively introspect on your actions, behaviors, the behaviors of others, journaling, that kind of thing. And then the number 11 can represent a wish-making number, but I don't really see a wish coming true necessarily, but more so like I said with those clues earlier, like it's just going to help you get to the next clue, kind of energy showing up here, and less of like something falling in your lap. So let's go ahead and look a little further. I'm going to pull you a card to look into the overarching energy for you, or the big theme coming for you for the next 2 weeks. So definitely feel free, if you haven't already, to send your energy into this particular card pull, because I think it's going to be the big one. So let's go ahead, group 3, the overarching energy for group 3 for the next 2 weeks, the energy that's showing up most prevalently for group 3. Ooh, I love this card. It's just such a mood. But you have the Emperor showing up here, with the number 4 as well, for representing security and protection. And the Emperor, as you can see, they're like the protector of the forest. They protect the forest. They make sure to, they convene with the trees. They protect the mountain goats. They make sure everything is going well. They are the Oak King in this case, if you want to look down like more of a folklore rabbit hole that these cards can sometimes go down. But what I'm seeing here is a leader that is very protective, and someone who really cares deeply about making sure everyone is safe, protected, and feeling secure. And that hasn't really showed up with anything else that you've had show up here outside of maybe the direct communication that we've talked about earlier, because the Emperor does not really speak from the heart as much as they speak from the head. And also, they are a very well-known leader as well of this forest. So for you, there could be a leadership opportunity that's showing up here for you for over the next 2 weeks. It does not have to be like leadership in terms of like a very traditional sense, like the leader of a project or the head person of this or a manager or something like that, but it can also just in general represent a opportunity for you to lead your family or to lead a particular group project or to be the leader of your own life as well, and kind of convening with different pieces of yourself to make sure that you're leading yourself well and choosing really good actions and navigating that path. I'm really curious with the other charms that you're going to get here in a minute, because it hasn't so far really joined in with anything else we have here. So I want to see a little bit more information. So we're going to be doing that with the charm casting side of things. So if you do not have a charm casting set, you have no idea what charms are, I have an entire video going over everything that I know about charms, my master guide video, so that you can build your own set and begin charm casting yourself. And if you already do have a set of charms, which by the way, that video will be down in the description, but if you already have a set of your own charms, all of your charms have to be cast somewhere. And so we're going to be using this casting mat today, but if you have a particular casting mat that you would like, a casting cloth of your own design, then definitely feel free to reach out, as I would love to hand embroider one and sew one up for you. So if that's something you're interested in that would have a lot of personal touch, then feel free to reach out. But the one that we're using here today, my old trooper, is anything that falls here in the center is going to be related to more of that Emperor energy, the main energies coming forward. Anything left to this center line is related to week 1, and anything right of it, week 2. And we'll talk about the moon phases if they show up here individually. So let's begin first with some more information. We're going to be getting more information from the tarot tiles, and then we'll pull some charms here in a moment to really dive deeper into those as well. So feel free to send your energy in as always, and I'll pull some for you, group 3. Okay, so for a second I thought you also got the Emperor in here, but it's actually the Justice card, which we'll talk about here in a second with everything else. But I want to pull some charms first to get more details, so feel free to have a little conversation with them. I'll pull some for you as well. Okay. So let's start first with the center. So like I said earlier, you also got the Emperor in this space, but next to it you have first off the Justice card showing up here with the scales and the sword of justice. And then you also have next to it the 10 of swords. Very interesting mix of things showing up here, because, and interesting that we use mix, because the 10 of swords represents, and as you can see, they've like been stabbed through a very, very good amount of times. And so this represents a situation in which, again, something is ending, something you've been anticipating has been ending, but maybe it didn't end in the way that you wanted to. And so there is this feeling of justice. Everything that goes around comes around, a karmic kind of cycle showing up here. So whether it's related to you and how maybe you behaved or didn't feel like maybe you took the best actions towards someone else, towards this ending, that could be something to reflect upon, especially with that 7 you got earlier. Or this also can represent that you were the lead person for this particular thing, and it feels like maybe someone else didn't pull their weight. This kind of showed up in pile 1 as well. Or you feel like someone kind of backstabbed you or didn't particularly listen to all of your ideas or consider you as a good leader or a good person for this particular role or this particular situation, or didn't really, trust your expertise. It could maybe be something that just really kind of stung a little bit. There could be a bit of hurt here showing up here with this this Justice card here as well. But the Justice card is also showcasing that, like, what goes around comes around, and, like, the actions, every action that we take, even positive actions, have either positive or negative consequences, and those consequences are going to show up in their life in some way. So it's not something that you need to, worry about too much. It'll all work itself out in the end, because everything is interconnected. So interesting that interconnectedness, that leadership role is coming forward here again with everything else, but in a way that shows that, like, maybe someone did not rubbed you the wrong way, did not, like, convene with you in a way that you had hoped. Interesting how that's showing up here. Here in pile 1, you also have a few other things. I'm going to just kind of bring these to the center so you can see everything. You have the racket charm showing up here, so it feels like there's a lot of racket in your brain. There is a lot going on, a back and forth battle, either between other people in your life, like I was talking about earlier, or just in general. Maybe you are feeling like there's just a lot of racket, there's a lot of stuff going on around you at this time. It's a very busy time. You also have the mask charm showing up here, so it does show that, like, maybe you've been masking or not, like, totally showing your full face or how you're truly feeling about something. Again, that direct communication, because you're like, I just got to get this done. I'm just going to racket this over to you. You racket it back over to me. We get this thing done. And, there's no fuss about it. I don't really need to go into the details of how I'm feeling or what's going on. You just really want to focus on what needs to get done. But on your own time, it does seem like there is someone maybe wanting to offer a bit of support to you, support on something that's been a very difficult or hard journey in your life, that someone wants to give a little bit of help, give a little bit of resource, give a little bit of their time and energy towards you. Again, even particularly on something you're reflecting back upon. So it feels like there's a lot of reflection in your reading here, of wanting to reflect back on your previous actions or the actions of others. And in doing so, maybe you're talking it out with someone who is like a longtime friend, a longtime person that you trust. And then in the day-to-day, you're like masking how you're feeling about all of that and just getting things done. So that's showing up here in week 1. As for week 2, we have some collaboration showing up here. This 3 of Pentacles has been showing up, or the 3 energy has been showing up in, I think, every single pile. So it's really interesting that we have a lot of collaboration, a lot of teamwork, a lot of mixing and mingling of a lot of different kinds of people showing up here, and that may be showing up specifically the networking events or the networking situations in the second week, or the later half of the first week. And you also have here the shark and the risk charm of the gambling little chip here. So it feels like you are networking, you're hoping to, catch a good one. The shark can also represent feeling misrepresented. So maybe you're being misrepresented as a risk taker, someone who takes a lot of risks. But seeing as you have the Emperor showing up here, I feel like you are very much not a risk taker. You really think things through. You make sure to convene with other people. So there is this energy of maybe someone feeling like you are taking too many risks, and that's showing up here in the second week as well. But just in general, I just feel like you are in a situation where you are networking and community building in the second week, maybe even getting some constructive criticism that could be helpful for you moving forward in the second week. So overall, those are all of the charms and cards that I have here for you, group 3. I feel like you guys had a very wild ebb and flow kind of reading. I'm very curious to hear your guys' thoughts, because it went in so many different directions. Sometimes I feel like a reading is very cohesive, and I feel like sometimes I'm like saying the same 3 words over and over again, because like that's just how it is. It's just telling me the same thing. But your guys' has just sort of gone in all different directions. So I'd really love to hear your thoughts down below. And if you did enjoy this reading, definitely be sure to give this video a like. And if you are interested in more pick a card readings like this one, or other pick a card readings, and even art magic and charm casting videos that I do educationally on this channel, then definitely feel free to subscribe, as I put out new readings hopefully every Monday. Sometimes there are things like last week where I just had a technological sort of error situation that was going on, which happens from time to time. So if you want to know any information about that, feel free to check out my community posts to see if I've posted or not. But it's mainly every Monday. Also, if you're interested in diving deeper into anything I talked about here, or other information that you're looking for in general, then definitely feel free to reach out for a snail mail reading, where I send a letter to you in the mail. It is typewritten on a vintage typewriter. It is wax sealed closed for your eyes only, and it really dives deep very, very deep into any question or query on your mind. More helpful and honest reviews over on my Instagram through my highlights, and feel free to reach out through an email or an Instagram DM for more information on those. And if you're interested also in art magic, or into decorating your grimoire, or into using particular sigils very often, or anything like that, where a rubber stamp would be very useful for that, for magical art magic, then definitely feel free to reach out, as I love carving stamps and I would love to carve and design a stamp for you in mind. So feel free to reach out with any ideas that you have and we can create one together. So with that all said, I'm going to go ahead and close off your reading. Thank you so much for being here with me today, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.